The South Asian heritage of a U.S. vice presidential candidate has sparked excitement in India. Joe Biden has picked Kamala Harris as his running mate for the November 3rd election. And it's the first time a Black and Asian American woman has been on the ticket. The 55-year-old California senator is the daughter of immigrants from Jamaica and India. And she's long been considered a front-runner for the position. And this will be her second shot at the White House after failing in her own presidential bid. While there's been mixed reaction to her nomination, Senator Harris's Indian roots have won her much support in the subcontinent. Ishan Garg has more.
It is a moment of pride for many Indians today. Senator Kamala Harris's mother, who emigrated to the United States of America when she was very young, was from India, from the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. And now, because of Kamala Harris's Indian roots, a number of people are of the opinion that this is a sign of the Indian community's growing clout in American politics. Harris herself has said that she's proud of her Indian roots. She says her Indian heritage has taught her how to be tenacious and honest. Her mother, who moved to the US to study science, has been a big motivation for her. As a child, she says she visited India almost every summer and would take long walks on the beach with her grandparents. Her grandfather participated in India's freedom struggle, which possibly could be the reason Harris stresses on issues around civil liberties. And a nomination adds her to the long list of prominent Americans of Indian origin. But a stand on several key issues relating to India could sour celebrations here. She has been an outspoken critic of the Indian government on Kashmir, and in 2019 had expressed solidarity with the people of Kashmir after the state's special rights were revoked. On top of that, a majority of Prime Minister Modi's supporters here also like President Trump. And running opposite to him on a progressive, liberal agenda, Senator Harris may not remain as popular in the future here in India. For the Indian diaspora in the US, however, she remains a popular choice. But in some key swing states, experts say the Indian Americans could still choose to vote for President Trump. Many experts think that Senator Harris's election as the Vice President of America, if it happens, will not mark a big shift in US-India relations, but it will certainly help to improve the relationship between the two countries. If elected to office, Senator Harris will be the first Vice President of America with an Indian heritage. Ishan Garg, CNA, New Delhi.
And Simon Marks is in Washington, D.C. with more on this story. So, Simon, tell us, what could a Biden-Harris ticket mean for Asia? After all, we just heard what Ishan said there.
Well, I think it's worth making the point, Glenda, that it's not just in India that people are very excited about Kamala Harris's arrival on the presidential ticket for the Democrats. They're very excited in Jamaica as well, because while her mother was born in India, her father was born in Jamaica, and she, of course, identifies also as an African-American on Joe Biden's ticket. So there are all sorts of different interest groups out there looking at this and trying to read the tea leaves to see what's her likely influence going to be on policy towards India, towards China, towards even the Caribbean. The truth of the matter is that as a vice presidential candidate, she'll have a voice in the creation of the foreign policy platform of the Democratic campaign, but she won't be by any manner of means the most influential voice around the table. We know that in the interviews that she's given and the writings that she has proffered, she tries to walk a relatively balanced line when it comes to China. She says that the government in Beijing absolutely must be held to account with regard to human rights abuses, with regard to the treatment of Uyghurs in Xinjiang, but she equally calls for a balanced relationship with China when it comes to trade and economic partnership. So you can read that in a variety of different ways. She has spoke very warmly and lovingly about her relationship with her grandparents in India. Her grandfather was a senior Indian civil servant in the 1960s and seems to have been very influential, not just in terms of Kamala Harris's upbringing, but also in terms of introducing her to the politics of the subcontinent and to some of the men, predominantly, alongside whom he served in the Indian government. So she comes to the role steeped in the politics of the region, but just how that impacts the likely future of Biden-Harris foreign policy, I think is very unclear. And the Trump administration, of course, is working overtime now to try and continue altering dramatically the relationship between Washington and Beijing in order to create a new set of a sort of a fait accompli, if you like, that whoever is president in January of next year, whether it's Joe Biden or still Donald Trump, will inevitably inherit and have to find a way of then calibrating.
Well, Mrs. Harris could be seen in action fairly soon. She's expected to debate Vice President Mike Pence on television. President Trump is already on the attack.
Yes, absolutely. She'll be in action today, by the way. She and Joe Biden will be holding their first joint event in the United States in a few hours' time. All eyes anticipating that televised debate. There's only one of them slated between Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence. It may well turn out to be a more edifying and informative spectacle than the three currently scheduled debates that are due to take place between President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Donald Trump has been calling Kamala Harris a nasty woman. He says that she's got a reputation for being one of the meanest, nastiest people in Congress. Nasty is an adjective that he usually reserves for powerful women. He doesn't often use it in his arsenal of rhetoric against powerful men. He has also said that he's surprised that Joe Biden picked her because she was so disrespectful towards Joe Biden during some of those presidential debates when they were both vying for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination. There is a big distinction, of course, between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, as we've seen through this pick. Donald Trump prizes loyalty. He doesn't have any time for anybody who disrespects him. Joe Biden is making it clear that on his ticket, there is room for people who have disagreed publicly in the past to now start finding common purpose.
Well, thanks for getting us up to speed with that. Simon Mark speaking to us from the U.S. capital, Washington, D.C.